On their behalf, I certify that on February 28, 2014, in accordance with our articles and bylaws, Paula J. Carlson was elected 10th President of Luther College. We present her to you for induction into that office.
Paula Carlson, you have heard the story of Luther College, from its Norwegian immigrant beginnings to the present. You've heard about the ways people have been challenged to learn together in community, to discern their callings, and to serve with distinction for the common good. You have heard, too, a vision of community in which differences are appreciated and united by the power of God's love. You know the duties that belong to the president of the college as defined in its articles and bylaws. You bring with you special gifts for meeting the challenges of this office. Do you accept these duties and gifts as means for leading Luther College into the future? Do you pledge to use as your guides the dialogue of faith and learning, the desire to serve God's world, and the spirit of true community?
Yes, I do, with God's wisdom and love to guide me.
Well, then, by the authority vested in me as chair of the board, the office of president is now committed to you. God bless you and make you a blessing to others. Receive this medallion as a symbol of your office.
You have heard the pledges of support, affirming President Carlson's authority and expressing the Luther community's faith, conviction, and confidence in her leadership. In this spirit, I ask the community to stand and join me with enthusiasm in welcoming the 10th President of Luther College.
I invite you now to be seated. I am honored and very happy to join the Luther community as the 10th president of Luther College. Thanks to all of you for participating in the inauguration ceremony today. I'm grateful for your presence and for your witness here today. My special thanks to members of the Nordic Choir and to the Luther College Orchestra. I'll add my thanks to Board Chair Torgesons, to their conductor Daniel Baldwin, and to college organist Gregory Peterson for the beautiful and stirring music that you've offered us here today. My thanks to the representatives from student organizations and to members of Luther's athletic teams who are here with us representing their teams today. The year's off to a good start. Go Norse. Yeah. My thanks also to the Inauguration Committee for its diligent and dedicated work in planning this inauguration ceremony today. I'd also like to express my thanks to delegates from colleges and universities, representatives of higher education organizations, the Mayor of Decorah, the Honorary Consul General of Norway in Minneapolis, and the bishops of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America who join us today. And I'm grateful for the participation of the Board of Regents members who are here, past regents, regents emeriti. I'm thankful too to my family, friends, and colleagues for their presence and participation today. As I join the Luther community as its 10th president, I want to take note of a rare and unusual occurrence. As Board Chair Torgerson mentioned, joining us today are previous presidents of Luther College. There are 3 interim presidents and 3 previous presidents here. And together with President Jeffrey Baker, whose family has sent these flowers for our day together, these presidents represent 51 years of service to Luther College. It's rare and very special to gather presidents who represent about 1/3 of the history of Luther College, and I'd like to introduce the presidents to you now. The 3 interim presidents here today are the Reverend Dr. David Teedy, Mr. Richard Hemp, Mr. David Roseland. Would you please stand so we can recognize you? And we have 3 previously installed presidents here today as well. Dr. Richard Torgerson became Luther's 9th president in 1999. The Reverend Dr. H. George Anderson became Luther's 7th president in 1982. The Reverend Dr. Elwyn Farwell became Luther's 6th president in 1963. Would you please stand so we can... Thank you for participating today in this inauguration ceremony. I'm moved by your presence and privileged to be the steward now of this august legacy of leadership. We are honored today to be joined by these distinguished guests as we celebrate Luther's compelling mission and its vibrant community at this beginning of a new presidency. Since 1861, the Luther College mission has called this community to offer its students an engaging, rigorous, liberal arts education in a vibrant residential community. Throughout these 153 years, the curriculum's essential element and the community's defining characteristic has been the college's commitment to the life of faith and learning in the Lutheran theological tradition. The past presidents here today, like the presidents who preceded them, have given the college wise leadership as the Luther community faced ever-changing environments, each with its own particular challenges and opportunities, each with its own possibilities for innovation and growth. These presidents led the college, building strength on strength, as faculty and staff created new programs, as new groups were welcomed to the student body, and as the campus grew to provide facilities for new possibilities in teaching and learning, and to offer new spaces for a rich, vibrant community life. The founders of Luther College chose a motto that proclaims the college's mission: Soli Deo Gloria, to God alone the glory. From the college's earliest years to this day, in ever-changing times with their new challenges, possibilities, and opportunities, This motto has called the Luther College community to remember our roots and to live our mission, building strength on strength as we innovate to embrace our particular time with our particular challenges and opportunities. In the Luther College mission statement, we affirm the liberating power of faith and learning. We state that we are rooted in an understanding of grace and freedom that emboldens us in worship, study, and service to seek truth, examine our faith, and care for all God's people. The distinctive ethos of the Luther College community is shaped by the reforming spirit of Martin Luther, the 16th century professor and Augustinian friar for whom the college is named. With his persistent, probing questions and his commitment to re-examining what were the intellectual and ecclesiastical givens of his day, Martin Luther sparked reform and renewal in the university, in the church, and in society. Tradition tells us that on October 31st, 1517, Martin Luther nailed 95 theses to a church door in Wittenberg, the German city where he was a professor of theology at the university and gave lectures on interpreting the Bible. Luther's 95 theses are a series of statements and questions about grace, faith, and salvation. They are statements and questions that Luther wanted to examine fully and to debate rigorously. Writing his theses on a piece of parchment and then posting them on the castle church door in Wittenberg was Luther's invitation to other scholars at the university to have a public discussion and debate about what Luther saw to be essential, crucial matters regarding faith, salvation, and especially God's grace. Luther chose to post his theses on October 31st because he knew that on November 1st, All Saints' Day, many citizens of Wittenberg would be coming to the church for worship services. Luther knew that these townspeople would see his statements and questions as they passed through the church door. Posting notices on the castle church door was 16th century Wittenberg's version of our Facebook postings, tweets and Twitters, email blasts, bulk mailings, television ads. In posting his 95 theses on the castle church door, Luther was using a most powerful social medium of his day. Luther's posting was his invitation to all the citizens of Wittenberg to attend, witness, and so participate in the discussion and debate of his 95 theses. Luther's posting was an invitation for a wide, inclusive discussion and debate, a rigorous, engaged conversation and exchange of ideas about essential things, about the things that matter most. Like Martin Luther, the reformer for whom we are named, we at Luther College study, explore, investigate, question, examine, and debate ideas, questions, insights, and possibilities about essential things, about the things that matter most. We do this in our studies in Martin Luther's own field of theology and religion, and we also do this across the whole curriculum. In thinking widely and exploring deeply across all fields in the college's curriculum, we are also following the example of Martin Luther. As the University of Wittenberg became more and more important in the fast-moving Reformation that Luther sparked on that October day in 1517, Luther, along with his colleague and friend Philip Melanchthon, encouraged this engaged, thorough, deep thinking at the university in the fields of theology and religion, and also in history, literature, astronomy, geography, and the new emerging fields of the natural sciences. Our affirmation at Luther College of the liberating power of faith and learning is rooted in Luther's and Melanchthon's pursuit and encouragement of engaged learning in all fields of study. At Luther College, our pursuit of knowledge and wisdom is shaped by our deep dedication to this integrated life of faith and learning. In our mission statement, we assert that this distinctive way of learning offers students an education that disciplines minds and develops whole persons equipped to understand and confront a changing society. Our model of education offers students opportunities to acquire knowledge across many fields and to develop expertise in one. It offers them opportunities to become nimble thinkers, probing explorers of new ideas and experiences, adept integrators of seemingly disparate things, and agile creators of innovative ways to approach problems new and old. Our model of education offers students opportunities to acquire knowledge and develop skills in a community that equally values the pursuit of wisdom and the life of faith. Essential to our model of education at Luther College is that we learn in community. We gather in this beautiful place, Decorah, Iowa, tucked in the upper Iowa River's stunning Oneota Valley. Together in this place, where, as our mission statement so beautifully reminds us, river, woodland, and prairie meet. We are a community where students, faculty, and staff are enlivened and transformed by encounters with one another, by the exchange of ideas, and by our distinctive life of faith and learning. Rooted in the Lutheran theological and educational tradition, we are people of all backgrounds, people from many places and traditions, and we join together here in this place, creating a diverse community as we seek knowledge, understanding, truth, and wisdom in all fields of learning and in our life together. Several months ago, college pastor Mike Blair asked me what image I would use to describe this kind of education, this distinctive model of education. I guess he assumed that as a professor and scholar in the field of literature, I would be thinking in images, and he was right. I told Pastor Blair that the image that for me best conveys this model of education is the prophet Isaiah's image of God calling and welcoming all peoples to a great feast that God hosts. In chapter 5 of his writings, Isaiah describes God calling people together to an abundant feast and then urging them, "Listen carefully to me and eat what is good, and delight yourselves in rich food. Incline your ear and come to me. Listen so that you may live." Join in the Luther College community, I told Pastor Blair. With its rich and nourishing life of faith and learning together is like being welcomed to this great feast, to an abundant, life-giving offering of knowledge and wisdom shared in a community of faith. Just a few weeks after our discussion of educational models and literary images, Pastor Blair emailed me. I could feel the excitement in his email. Pastor Blair said he had big news. We'd won the lectionary lotto. I had previously blissfully been unaware that there is such a thing as lectionary lotto. This was new to me. I thought maybe it was a true blue special Norse thing, and I should quickly and thoroughly study it, investigate, and master it. But no, it turns out it's just a Pastor Blair thing. As he looked ahead last spring to the lectionary texts, the scripture readings, for day after tomorrow, the Sunday during this inauguration and homecoming weekend, Pastor Blair found something serendipitous. He saw that the first scripture reading for this Sunday is from Isaiah 25, which includes another of the passages where Isaiah describes God's great feast. Isaiah 25, verse 6 tells us, "On this mountain, the Lord of hosts will make for all peoples a feast of rich food, a feast of well-aged wines, of rich food filled with marrow, of well-aged wines strained clear. Pastor Blair was right. We won the lectionary lotto. And so this inauguration and homecoming weekend, I invite you to think of a Luther College education as our instance here in the beautiful Oneota Valley, the upper Iowa River, tucked here in Decorah, Iowa, our instance of God's great feast, the feast that the prophet Isaiah tells us will nourish us with good food, with the rich, life-giving marrow of knowledge, and with well-aged wisdom to strengthen us as we learn in community and discern our callings, preparing, as our mission statement reminds us, to go into the world in many callings and vocations, to serve with distinction for the common good. I'm quickly learning that at Luther, sometimes this great feast is not solely a metaphorical feast. Sometimes it's an actual feast. Reading about the early history of the college, I was intrigued and delighted to learn about sketches of the first gatherings in celebration of the college's founding and mission. The sketches were done by Linka Preuss, an immigrant artist married to the Reverend Herman Amberg Preuss, one of the college's founders. A portion of one of Linka Preuss's sketches is included in the program today, and I invite you to look at it now. It's on the first page of the program. And my thanks to the Luther College Archives for permission to reprint it here in the program today. This sketch is of the feast held at the dedication of the first main building at Luther. This large building was dedicated in 1865, just 4 years after the college's founding. At the center of the sketch stands Luther's first president, President Carlson. He is surrounded by tables laden with many kinds of rich and nourishing food. Other people depicted in the sketch range from children playing among and under the tables to members of founding families circulating among the guests, to community members helping to serve the feast, to dignitaries sipping cups of coffee and unfortunately spilling a little on Mrs. Corin's skirt. In her sketch, Linka Preuss carefully labeled the foods on the tables and named the people she included in the sketch. Above the people she sketched are words, some in English, some in Norwegian. These words are Linka Preuss's record of the words that the people she depicted were speaking at the moment she captured in her sketch. When I first saw the sketch, the words of one person in particular caught my attention. Mr. Ole Burkham stands on the far right of the sketch. He remarks to Mrs. Corin, who is standing beside him, that he is so pleased to have 100 healthy and diligent boys seeking admission to this very new college. And he states that he was pleased that so many people showed their interest in this new college by coming to the dedication ceremony and the feast of celebration for the new main building. Curious, I looked for records that might tell me how many people were at the dedication feast. I was astonished when I saw the numbers. Somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 people attended the dedication ceremony for the first main building here on the Luther College campus. 2,000 people shared the feast of celebration after the dedication ceremony, and it would have been more, but it started raining and some people went home. Luther College, this very new college with its 100 diligent students, clearly mattered a great deal to thousands of people. Many people traveled long distances to be present at this dedication of the first main in 1865. People from Decorah and the surrounding farms and towns provided abundant food. Community members helped to set up tables, to lay out the feast, and then to clean up. So many people present at the dedication ceremony and then joining together at the feast of celebration. Their participation and witness testify to the value they saw both in the present and long into the future for this new residential liberal arts college of the church. Their presence at the dedication and feast was a sign of their commitment to and support for this distinctive, extraordinary model of education. They saw in Luther College a place where, for many generations, students would learn in community, growing in knowledge and wisdom. They saw a place where, for many generations, students would pursue their callings and be prepared to serve with distinction for the common good. The histories of Luther College report that this feast of celebration in 1865 concluded a long day filled with ceremony, speeches, greetings, and conversations. As the feast drew to a close on that mid-October day, night was falling. To mark the end of the celebration, candles were lit in the highest windows of Maine, the imposing, impressive, three-story college building topped by a three-story tower. The glowing candles in these highest windows spelled out the motto the founders had chosen for Luther College, Soli Deo Gloria. This fall, as we begin the 154th new academic year at Luther College, almost 2,400 students traveled to campus from places far and near, from across the street and from halfway around the world. They came to pursue their college studies with us here at this college, where to this day we embrace and proclaim our mission as a residential liberal arts college of the church, a college where students, faculty, and staff from many places and many backgrounds gather to learn in community, to grow in knowledge and wisdom. A college committed to an integrated life of faith and learning. A college where students discern their callings and prepare to serve for the common good. This weekend, we welcome back close to 2,500 alumni and friends of the college, here to remember and to celebrate what a Luther College education has meant in their lives. If Linka Preuss were here this weekend to sketch us and to record our conversations above our heads as we gather at ceremonies, events, and feasts over these days together, I'm confident she would find again a vibrant, strong community, energy for new ventures, eagerness to embrace new opportunities and possibilities, resolve to assure the college thrives, ambition to serve with distinction for the common good, and commitment to an integrated life of faith and learning. The luminous glow of the candles the founders of the college lit in the highest windows of the first main, Soli Deo Gloria, will shine again in our gatherings this weekend as we remember and celebrate again the distinctive mission and community that is Luther College. We are now the carriers of this light. We are called to be the stewards of this distinctive, extraordinary college. We are called to build strength on strength as together we live Luther's mission in our time. I am honored and privileged as Luther's 10th president to join with you in this calling. Soli Deo